the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
Well, it is official. Former President Donald Trump is expected to return to the White House in January. CBS News and the Associated Press have projected him as the winner after he won several key battleground states, including Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Trump had claimed victory in Florida earlier before the race was even called, telling his supporters there it'll be the golden age of America. Thank you so much for joining us here. I'm Neda Iranpour.
I'm Eric Connor. Vice President Kamala Harris is expected to address the nation later today in Washington, D.C. We did not hear from her last night. Many people were wondering if she would come out and what she'd say about those numbers that were rolling in that were looking like they were leaning towards Trump.
Right. She was watching the results with family, was supposed to come out at Howard University where students were waiting, but that's expected to happen today. Let's send it over now to CBS News' Jared Hill.
I think that we just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America.
Early this morning, the Trump-Vance campaign claimed victory ahead of CBS News' projection that former President Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
This was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country and maybe beyond.
Speaking to supporters in West Palm Beach, Florida, he promised unity.
It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite. And we're going to try.
At Vice President Kamala Harris's alma mater, Howard University, supporters grew less enthusiastic. The crowd later dispersed after a top campaign official told them Harris would wait to address supporters and the nation later today.
We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted.
According to CBS News exit polls, the state of democracy was the biggest issue for Harris voters. But for Trump supporters, it was the economy.
The Democratic ticket all the way for human rights.
While he was the president, everything was nice and smooth, and I still had money left in my pocket.
A vast majority of voters nationwide described the economy as bad after heading into the voting booth yesterday. Jared Hill, CBS News, Washington.
All right, and now here in San Diego, let's get you caught up on what's been happening all around the world and in San Diego. People are reacting to news of Donald Trump's projected presidential victory.
And that includes in Israel and Ukraine, as wars that America is heavily invested in continue there.
I think it's good for Israel, yeah, no doubt. It's better than Kamala Harris.
Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, calling it history's greatest comeback and a new beginning for America. Ukraine was also tracking results closely as it relies heavily on billions of dollars in U.S. military support.
Now, Trump has said he could end the war with Russia in 24 hours if elected. Ukraine's president congratulated Trump on a, quote, impressive election victory. CBS 8's Chris Groh will have more reaction from around the world and here locally coming up live at 5:30. And now, let's move on to the race for San Diego mayor between incumbent Todd Gloria and Larry Turner. You see right there, Todd Gloria clearly in the lead, 55% of the vote, with Larry Turner getting 45%. As a new name in the mix, that's still a pretty high number. So it looks like, Todd Gloria right now leading.
CBS 8's Regina Yarita live at the Registrar of Voters, where those ballots are still being counted this morning, Regina?
Yeah, that's correct. Good morning, Eric and Netta. For some poll workers, it's still been a very long night, staying overnight to count those ballots. So some of them have just left the Registrar of Voters office. But as you mentioned, as far as the mayoral race goes, we are noticing incumbent Mayor Todd Gloria holding nearly an 11-point lead against his challenger, U.S. retired Marine Larry Turner. We have reaction of Mayor Gloria as those unofficial election results were released last night.
To say I did the job for 8 months, I can do it for 8 years. That may have been a little naive in the sense that I think in that time when I did it temporarily, any problem that has a shelf life of more than 8 months that wasn't necessarily shared with me. Now you get this job and you're here for 4 to 8 years, you get to see anything and everything that's out there. And there are there are endless amounts of challenges, but I get strength from that.
Incumbent Gloria, who is a Democrat, was initially elected in 2020. He's now currently vying for his second term as San Diego mayor. Now, Gloria's term has been challenging as San Diego faces a number of problems, including increasing rates of homelessness and housing costs, the rising threat of fentanyl, and questions about the city's infrastructure following the January 22nd storms. His response has been the efforts he has pushed to build more housing, repair the city's aging infrastructure, and provide more shelters for the homeless. His challenger, Larry Turner, on the other hand, is a police officer, a former U.S. Marine, and an independent. In past interviews, he has criticized Gloria, saying the mayor has failed on several issues like homelessness. Turner has also put an emphasis on improving infrastructure, using the San Diego Convention Center year-round as an economic engine, keeping small businesses in San Diego, and focusing less on bike lanes in transit.
I first started working around the mayor's office and seeing the dysfunction there and the incompetence and the youthfulness of his staff, and a lot of people not accepting the facts of what's going on, so they had horrible plans. And I didn't see that changing. Wanted somebody else to run. Tried to ask a few friends of mine. Bill Walton was one of them. Unfortunately, his health was such that he couldn't do it, so I ended up stepping up to run.
Now, again, poll workers are working very hard as they continue to count those ballots. Today will be another long morning, especially another long day for them. But tomorrow, another set of the unofficial election results will be released in the afternoon at 6 p.m. So we'll keep you guys updated as we see more results coming in the next couple of days. That's latest here outside of the Registrar of Voters office. I'll send things back to you guys.
And that's a really important reminder of our deadlines here and the numbers when they're going to start rolling in again. We're not going to hear much here today. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., we're expecting to learn a lot more on the numbers. But here's a look at how the numbers look at the moment. The propositions, Prop 2, this is a $10 billion bond measure to repair dilapidated schools. Right now, the yes has 57% of the vote, to no's 43%. Prop 3 reaffirms same-sex couples have the right to marry. This is leaning 61% yes to 39% no. Prop 4, a $10 billion bond to address climate change and conserve natural resources, 58% yes vote and 42% no. Prop 5 would make it easier for voters to pass local bonds. That one going 56% no to the 44% yes. And Prop 6, which would ban forced prison labor, this one is leaning 55% no, a 10-point margin over the yes. Annetta, you have more looks at the closer results as far as the props are concerned here.
Yeah, we have a lot more to get to here. So Proposition 32, this is the one that would raise the minimum wage. As you see, 52% say no, 48% yes. That's a close one. Prop 33, this would expand rent control. This is the one that has been attempted to pass twice already. 62% saying no on Prop 33, 38% saying yes. Now, Prop 34, it's about prescription drug revenue. That's for health care. Well, this one right now, 51% saying yes, and a close no, 49% there. So the difference of it looks like about 150,000 or so votes. Let's move on now to Prop 35, a permanent tax to fund Medi-Cal services. 67% say yes on that, with more than 6 million people voting for it. No, 33%. Now, Proposition 36. This is the one that increases sentences and allows felony charges for theft and drug trafficking, theft of over $950. 70% say yes, a sweeping win on that with more than 6,500,000 votes. 30% are saying no. Eric?